Welcome back, America. We're here with retired General Robert Spalding, former U.S. Air Force Brigadier General, Semper founder and CEO, Hudson Institute senior fellow, great group there. General, as you see this play out, the war with Iran and the time it took to build up, seems to me they got a lot right in the build-up to this war. Is there something you would do differently, or is there something you want to highlight that was done very well?
Well, first of all, I think, the air campaign, the destruction of the Navy, the destruction of their offensive capability, I think is outstanding. I think the thing that I would have done, and you really can't blame the U.S. Navy because we haven't done this since World War II, which is really dust off the convoy operations, how we protected ships, going across Atlantic from the United States to resupply the war effort in Europe. They could have dusted off some of those tactics, updated them for the drone threat, and I think, had a plan for escorting ships with essentially a blanket coverage of them as they're going around the strait. And we knew that this was going to be a choke point.
So what do you do now?
Well, I think they can still do that. We've just had some ships go through because the Iranians evidently let them through, but there is no reason we couldn't create a convoy operation with a screening operation that's combined with that, plus overhead air cover, the positioning of counter-drone capability so that we can start to move ships through that area effectively. Now, it may require that you have onboard folks on those ships to help, with the operation, but I think we could create a convoy screening operation that would start to move ships out of the Persian Gulf through the Strait of Hormuz.
Let me ask you this. Are you troubled by the fact that some of our European friends have taken so long to help us out? I mean, after all, they're the ones that get most of the oil out of there. We don't.
Oh, absolutely. If you think about it, we have put more into the Russia-Ukraine war than anybody. And for them to then come and say, well, Iran's not our deal. Well, why is Ukraine our deal, but Iran's not their deal? And so, and when you look at the fact that the 4,000-kilometer missile that they launched at Diego Garcia could hit the UK, you just start to wonder, are they even thinking properly? It means to me, or it tells me that they're thinking more about, their anger over Trump being the president of the United States than in reality what their role is as an ally, as a NATO ally to the United States.
Well, a lot of these governments now are led by the left in their party, these leftist parties, and they rely a lot on this new wave of immigrants, Islamists and so forth, that have come out of the Middle East or have come out of Pakistan and so forth and so on. So my concern is there is that political consideration. And secondly, I mean, what happened to Britain's Navy? They used to brag that they could sail throughout the world. They had the biggest Navy and the most powerful 100 years ago. It's certainly not close to that now, is it, General?
Well, it's not. But, Mark, it's not just the UK Navy. It's our own Navy, and it's our own fault. We really, after the end of the Cold War, I think everybody believed that, these kind of big power politics and big power competition was gone. And the Chinese didn't think that way, and the Russians didn't either. And so it's our own fault, not just UK, not just Europe, but also us. And so it's something that tells us that we have to get prepared for this Cold War. The Cold War, quite frankly, never ended. It just went into hibernation, and we weren't paying attention when the bear came out of the hole.
I want to follow up with you next segment on this because I've been hammering on this too. We used to have you obviously know, we used to have a 600 ship Navy. And now it's under 300 ships. The president's very concerned about this because our shipbuilding capacity is now very limited. And to get all that skilled labor and to open up these places again, I know they're trying to open up the Philadelphia Naval Base and so forth. I want to pursue that with you, given your Navy background.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.